Inconceivable!
Will you please act like you have more than a two-word vocabulary?
Is there air? You don't know!
And now, a yak.
Yak!
Hey, don't touch that dial. You found secular yakking.
I'm Robert.
And I'm Amy.
After years,
No, many years of yakking at each other.
we're here to yak at you.
So sit back and enjoy the yakking.
Hey, welcome back, yackers. Hope
Hello.
you broke my concentration.
That's all right.
Hope you had a wonderful weekend.
I do it often.
Yeah, I know.
Busy yet again for us.
Yet again, busy weekend.
It's really getting exhausting, by the way.
Well, the next weekend's only half busy.
God, you're killing me.
We're only driving to Tri-Cities and back.
That's 4 hours over the pass, and I'm telling you about the snow right now.
Yeah, well, we have chains.
Sure we do. That'll do it.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get on with the show.
All right. First, we're going to start with an update from a previous story we covered in episode 14 and 18.
Alrighty, refresh me.
So, they were about the Michigan lawmaker Ted Cruz and Cindy Gamrat, who were forced out of office after an affair that failed, and the failed cover-up using the gay affair to detract their real affair.
I remember this one.
Well, it appears that both Gamrat and Corser are arguing that they should definitely have their jobs back.
Of course they are. Why?
Because they're the only true conservatives around.
Really? That's their argument?
Yes, that's their argument.
Well, they personally kind of sound like a bunch of little whiners to me.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So, Gamrat says, in order for us to maintain our republic to the shining city on the hill, or return our republic to the shining city on the hill that it was meant to be, we need to stay strong. Michigan strong. Right?
He's campaigning.
Yeah. And then Corser has been active on Facebook with accusations that he was blackmailed by the mafia.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then that he was targeted for being too principled by the leftist that now control the Republican Party.
Oh, the leftists control it. Okay.
So that's how far right this guy is.
Well, that's what I was just thinking.
He believes that the Republican Party is now too far left for him.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, that's one of our updates. I just happened to run across that name, and I was like, hey, I know that name. And I went through our episodes. Yeah, we covered him.
Well, I hope he doesn't get his job back.
Oh, it's unlikely, because he has to be... They're having a special election to basically replace them. And they're running for their own jobs.
Well, that's... Yeah. No.
Yeah, we should be reelected, even though we really screwed up last time. We promise we won't do it again.
Oh, yeah. I haven't heard that before.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll try and keep up with that. It's unlikely that they'll win, and we probably won't ever hear from them again.
Don't count your chickens.
All right, what else do we have?
I don't know. You tell me.
All right, so we got a Pastafarian in the news.
Okay, that's first for what? The show, I guess?
We may have covered a Pastafarian before,
maybe.
but I don't know. Lindsay Miller identifies as Pastafarian, also known as Church Flying Spaghetti Monster.
Right.
Yeah, which I love stripper poles and beer volcanoes.
Right.
So a secular religion views the existence of Flying Spaghetti Monster to be just as probable as the existence of any other god, right?
Blah, blah, blah,
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I heard a lot of blah, blah, blah in that one.
Yeah.
Try again.
Fine. The Church of Flying Spaghetti Monster holds that the FSM is just as probable as any other god.
That was much
and the
better.
creation story.
Right.
So she wished to wear her religiously traditional colander.
Right.
Spaghetti
strainer on your head. Yeah.
For her DMV photo.
And she got it?
Yeah. Well, not originally.
No, I meant, she had to fight for it.
Yeah, she had to fight for it. Originally, the Massachusetts DMV said no.
Right.
And so this is her religion. She is a Pastafarian.
Right.
And they allow Jewish people to wear their yarmulkes, and they allow Sikhs to wear their head wraps and things like that.
That must have just burned their biscuits like no other. I mean, truly, that they had to allow that.
Right. So,
to, accommodate her.
So David Neozi, the legal director from the Appiani Humanist Legal Center, said this: if people are given the right to wear religious garments in government ID photos, then this must extend to people who follow the Church of Flying Spaghetti Monster. It's a legally recognized religion.
That's funny.
So she filed an administrative appeal and was expected to have a hearing in October, but it was delayed. And the Massachusetts DMV just went ahead and said, go ahead and take your picture, which we have that picture.
Yeah, they're probably thinking it's not that big of a deal. Let's just get this over with.
So she got her...
That's a hell of a picture.
Yeah.
I mean, if you actually get to see it.
Yeah, I'll try and put it in the show notes.
Well, you need to, because it's not just the colander on her head. Her facial expression is
her facial expression is, I can't believe this happened.
And she's like, I don't even know how to describe that picture. I mean, her eyes are so like wide, shockingly open.
But this is a win for religious freedom, though.
Right, of course.
So, and it's a win for parody religions.
Oh, I was going to say, this is parody religion. They must have just been freaked when someone actually came up and said, I'd like to wear a colander in my picture. And they'd be like, what?
I think that's our colander.
I was going to say, that looks like ours. I hate ours, by the way.
Yeah, I know. But it looks very much like ours.
It doesn't drain enough. But, yeah, you know, they had to have been flabbergasted, you know, when she requested this.
Or as AC Grayling put, his gas was flabbered.
Exactly. That's good. No, it's definitely good. It's oddball. It's parody, but
yeah,
it's still
so much fun.
It's good though.
So let's move on to something that's almost as much fun.
Alrighty.
Starbucks.
Oh God, Starbucks crap.
So Christians are freaking out about the new holiday cups.
Oh God, are they ever going to get over this?
Yeah, they're mad because Starbucks did their annual change of the cup for the season.
Right.
And somehow someone forgot to put the snowflakes on it, which made it anti-Christmas.
I would have been fine with snowflakes, just snowflakes.
Well, usually,
I mean, that's winter.
Okay, usually it has trees, or reindeer, snowmen, nice secular holiday type stuff, right?
Right.
Well, they're freaking out because it has nothing. It's a red cup.
It's just a
with
cup.
The green logo. You can't get more Christmassy than red and green.
That was obviously their thought process as well. They have the colors of Christmas this year.
They don't need... It was probably...
And no, to interrupt you, though, tough. Get over it. But technically, red and green is more Christmas than it is, say, winter secular.
Right.
If you want to look at it from that standpoint. I mean, technically the red and green comes from nature as far as, your green from the evergreen,
from
the
the
red
holly.
from the birds and the berries and stuff.
Right.
But if, they're bitching about being non-Christmas or, but choosing to go red and green is actually a little more towards their Christmas versus if had they just done snowflakes.
Right. Well...
But anyways, you were saying.
Perpetually angry internet pastor Josh Feuerstein
Oh, God, that
weighed
guy.
in on the issue.
Of course he did.
Yeah. He said Starbucks removed Christmas from their cups because they hate Jesus.
Yes, because that's their goal.
Yeah.
To strike up,
basically in his
issues.
35-second, 45-second, whatever it is.
He's ranting on
He's
that.
ranting on it. And he says he doesn't want Christians to boycott Starbucks, right? He wants them to go to Starbucks and lie about their name.
Right. When they ask you what name so that they can write it in the cup, they want you to say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Forcing the barista to say Merry Christmas.
Right.
Because,
so she has to yell out, Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Now, here's the problem. Some of these Starbucks get pretty busy, right?
Yeah.
What
Everybody
if 10
yells out. Yeah.
10 people are like, oh, Merry Christmas. They yell, Merry Christmas, and mine.
Everybody Merry Christmas. What about Feliz Navidad? Be a little
Navidad.
different.
Yeah, what's interesting is there are pictures going around with some people have made some memes with actual Bible quotes on them, and wow, like dashing the kids against the rocks. That's always a good one.
It's there though.
Yeah, and he was later seen on CNN talking about this.
Oh, was he really?
Oh my goodness! If you haven't seen that video,
pretty
you
pathetic.
have to watch the video. So he's
I
up
haven't
against
seen
a
it.
guy who is just absolutely perfect on camera because Josh Feuerstein is talking about all his craziness, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can just watch the facial expressions on this guy, like, "Oh, I can't believe he said that," because you can see it in this guy's face, like, "Oh man, really?"
This is the one that you told me where he kept using the excuse, "Oh, I can't
Yeah, I
hear
can't
him."
hear
The other
him.
guy that was speaking.
Yeah, Josh Sherstein kept saying that he couldn't hear the
That
other
he
guy.
couldn't hear him. But
Right.
yet, as the interview goes on, you can see his facial expression. He's getting more and more
Yeah,
pissed,
yeah.
which you know darn well that he heard what he was saying.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
yeah. So, go get your red cups.
We don't do Starbucks
Well, we do
anyways. I
occasionally.
mean, once in a blue moon we do, but you know, there's a coffee pot in the kitchen. I mean, come on. You can even get those, you know, flavored creamers and stuff and floof it up.
Yeah, I'm not.
But you don't do that.
I just like coffee. I don't need extras.
I don't do coffee, I do tea. If I do coffee, I have to have all the flu-foo stuff in it.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways, we need to move on.
Yeah. So, a Kansas City homeless shelter tells atheist group they can't volunteer on Thanksgiving.
That really ticks me off, by the way.
Right.
That's
Especially
total crap.
since they have done it for the past 2 years.
Oh, really? Why
So-
now?
So, the Kansas City Rescue Mission is where the Kansas City Atheist Coalition is volunteered to deliver meals on Thanksgiving.
Right.
Well, this year they said that that the atheists would not be a good fit.
Why? What's the reasoning? Did they say even?
Because the rescue mission has decided to use the meals they deliver as a chance to proselytize to its recipients by inserting religious literature into the meals.
So they don't want the atheists there so that they can get more work done.
Right. And according to the Kansas City Atheist Coalition webpage, they have this insinuation that it may be because of their shirts.
Oh, really?
So if this is I'm looking
Because
at
it says atheist. Yeah, we're looking at the picture right now. It has
which
the
one?
word atheist on
right,
it.
and this is from last year.
Oh, obviously they didn't have a problem with it then.
Well, because they had already shown up.
Oh, well, and they're saying, you know, it kind of hindered our efforts to pass out our pamphlets last
Right.
year, so we could do better if we get rid of those atheists.
Right. Well, then no one can say that atheists are doing good.
Well, yes, that's true. That's a whole nother factor of it. But it kind of ticks me off at the fact that this is once again ignoring who they're helping and just more in it for themselves.
Well, they're in it to pass out their religious
They
literature.
want to spread their word. That's what this is all about. It's not about helping the homeless or the
It's
hungry.
It's no different than handing out a Bible for missionary work.
It's the same thing when you have parents fighting over a custody battle and, you know, nobody thinks, you know, maybe we should find out what the kid wants. They just duke it out themselves, you know, that kind of thing.
Right.
People need to start putting their pettiness aside and look at the people who need the help.
Right. And the Kansas City Atheists are scrambling for a volunteer activity for Thanksgiving because they've done one for years.
Right.
And now they're going to have to try and find something else.
I hope they do.
Yeah, that would be
It's
great.
a short,
It's
know,
pretty
time
short notice.
frame.
I mean, you
Yeah.
got a week.
So, yeah. So hopefully that works out for them. So I think we should move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Because I'm curious on this one.
Okay. 1,500 Mormons leave church in protest of same-sex policy.
I see this as a good thing, actually.
Yeah, I do.
In my opinion.
So earlier this month, the LDS Church announced a new policy regarding ordinances which can be performed for children of same-sex marriages. Basically, they're saying if you are a child of a same-sex couple, you are not allowed to be baptized in the church. You're technically not. You're officially not part of the church until you turn 18.
Right. Basically, you can't really participate.
Well, you can participate. You can go to temple. You can do all this stuff.
Right,
But you're
but-
you're not saved.
You're not welcome either.
Yeah, you're not welcome. So this new policy sparked a wave of controversy.
Yeah.
And here's why. The reasoning behind it.
Okay.
So they restricted children of same-sex couples from baptism until they're 18 from a desire to protect children in their innocence and in their minority years. And this is a direct quote from Elder D. Todd Christofferson.
Okay.
We don't want the child to have to deal with issues that might arise where their parents feel one way and the expectations of the church are very different. So they don't want to try and confuse the child because their parents are sinners.
I see it. For me, I see it as they don't want to confuse the child because their parents are showing love for everyone and the church doesn't allow that.
Right,
And we
basically.
don't want to confuse them on that. Because that's pretty much how I see it.
Right.
I mean,
So yesterday, 1,500 members of the LDS Church officially sent in their resignation letters to the church through 6 former LDS lawyers at the temple in Salt Lake.
1,500.
1,500, and there was 1,000 online that did
Wow.
it. Using lawyers skips some of the steps in the resignation process, which is actually more complicated than buying a house.
Oh, wow.
Remember all the papers
yeah.
and stuff?
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, this is worse.
That's ridiculous.
It includes several levels of the church and visits from church officials.
Oh, that would not go over well with
Yeah,
me.
phone calls and all sorts of stuff. And as I was reading all this, I'm like, man, this feels like a Vogon bureaucracy.
Yes, indeed it does.
So I'm actually, it sounds
Well,
more complicated than a Vogon bureaucracy.
right.
I mean, you have to literally go through.
And you should also give the reference for
okay.
for
If you're
Vogon.
listening to this show, you don't know who Vogons are.
Because
Sorry.
you kind of had to refresh me. I knew it, but I had
Right.
forgotten it.
So, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Douglas Adams. Vogons are the most bureaucratic creatures in basically the universe.
Those are those big things, right, on the show. I
Right.
remember them.
They're the people that the Vogons
I remember them
that
now.
destroyed the Earth.
Right.
So they could build the bypass.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
them.
And you know,
And they were very bureaucratic
Yeah.
on everything they
yeah,
did.
if you filed the right forms, you could get pretty much anything done.
Right.
And if you didn't, you got nothing done.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But that was
Anyways.
kind of interesting when I was reading the process, and I was like, wow, this is just amazing.
But that it just blows my mind that the church can have that kind of hold on them. I think that's
Well, here's
crazy.
the thing. Even if you stop going to church, right, you're still a member for, I think, 150 years. There are
just
dead people that
stupid.
are members of the church. Okay.
Let me
are-
guess, they count them, right?
Oh, yeah, they're counted.
Oh, that's crap.
There are members of the church who died. And they weren't members, but they've been baptized posthumously as members of the church.
That's so.
I
Donnie Osmond will be there for a very, very long time.
Yeah, unless he sends in his official
Donnie and
resignation.
Marie are never getting out of that church.
I remember something in the 2012 elections. They were talking about how Mitt Romney's family or somebody were baptizing people after their death.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, and the Satanic Temple went and did a debaptism of something. I don't remember.
Yeah,
It
and they
was
were
weird.
counting all those too. I
Yeah.
remember that.
So yeah, their roles are a little
So that they
inflated.
could get their numbers up.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
and
I don't
whatnot.
know a lot about Mormonism. Well, I know a bit.
I was gonna say we know
I know
more than most, I guess,
Yeah.
for not being a Mormon.
Right.
Yes, I mean we
So-
lived there for 2 years
Right.
and known people who even since we've moved there, so.
right.
Which, by the way, there's a lot of secrets in those houses.
Oh yeah,
Knowing them as neighbors, I know that firsthand.
yeah.
I am an old man, and most people hate me, but I don't like them either, so that makes it all even.
I will never get tired of that.
I know.
I know we play it and I say it all the time, but I have to go watch that movie again.
Well, it's that time of year.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
We make that a
It's
tradition.
my
I know it's
tradition.
silly, but I really like it.
Yeah.
They don't
Anyway.
play movies like that anymore.
They play it every year.
No, they
So
don't
yes,
make
they
it,
do.
I guess
Oh, they
I
don't
should
make
say,
movies
not
like
play.
that.
Right. Anyways, The Potter, which we did not have last week. So
Yeah, we had the George Bailey Award.
right,
though.
we did our very first George Bailey,
Anyway,
which will be once a month.
once a month, or as I find them
Well,
that
I
are
was gonna
more
say-
deserving.
Yeah, when we get around to it.
So we're moving to Dallas this week.
Ooh, have we been to Dallas?
Well, not that Dallas.
There's more Dallas?
I'm talking about Dallas, Oregon,
You ruined it.
and City Council member Mickey Garris.
Okay.
Garris, who has served a year and a half on the small Polk County town's 9-person council, posted a lengthy criticism on his Facebook page, where he typically offers commentary on city issues and alerts constituents on upcoming council meetings.
Polk County sounds familiar. Why?
Polk County?
Yeah.
There's a lot of Polk counties.
Oh, okay. 'Cause
I dealt with the Polk County sheriff.
Is that maybe
but
that's
he's
what it
from
was?
Texas.
Yeah, see.
The other
there
Dallas.
Again. There's you go, another Dallas. You're killing me. Anyways, continue.
Anyway, his comments were about a city election where in Michigan where 3 Muslim candidates won their elections, which gave that city the first Muslim majority city council in America with 4 out of 6.
Oh,
So he was apparently really, really unhappy with this.
of course.
And he posted this nice, really, really long tirade about it with all these numbers and facts and stuff.
Trying to sound,
Well,
factual.
from what I read, yeah, it's technically true. Some
What,
of it.
all the info he gave?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he dragged it off of Wikipedia, so it's technically true.
I was going to say not entirely, but
But
okay.
it's his personal commentary that bothers me.
Okay.
And I'm going to quote directly from a few of those things.
Hopefully correctly.
Yeah. I'm all for diversity, and I'll be the first to fight for everyone's religious freedoms within reason. I just don't like religions or people that wish to kill me, wipe out our culture, and destroy our country.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, no religious freedom. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
We need to stop pandering and address Islam, the Muslims, and the evil that is knocking at our door.
Wow.
My tolerance does have boundaries. Okay.
Oh, wow. Well, he just right there admittedly said that he is not all inclusive. He is not all tolerant. He is not for equality.
Oh, yeah, he does admit it. In fact, he literally admits it.
Oh, really? Like blatantly?
Yeah, he says...
Potterly.
Potterly. I'll admit I'm a bigot toward that religion.
Oh, well, I should have waited for that part.
I do not like or agree with anything Muslims stand for, and I believe the Islamic faith is pure evil.
Holy hell.
Yeah. So this guy
Seriously?
is as anti-Islam as you can possibly get.
And he sits on the council?
He's a city councilman.
How the hell did he get voted in?
I'm assuming it's a fairly conservative area.
Yeah, I suppose, but that's just crazy. I mean, to just...
Well, during my research of this guy, it turns out he owned or owns, I don't know if he still does. I think he still owns basically a gun shop.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's par for the course.
And there was a bill that was going through it was Oregon
Okay.
about background checks.
Oh.
And his reasoning is one of those crazy ones. Not, I can understand. I like that people like their guns and they think that they, prefer to own them. Second Amendment stuff.
All right.
But one of the things I hate about certain Second Amendment arguments is to defend themselves against a tyrannical government.
Right.
So that's just a stupid argument.
Right.
Unless you have a tank, you're not going to defend yourself against a tyrannical government.
Right, exactly.
Okay, I don't care who you are. Well, maybe if you had a rocket launcher to shoot a tank, but you need a lot of them. and last time I checked, rocket launchers aren't covered under the Second Amendment.
No, I believe that they are not.
So, but that's beside the point.
Right.
That's a whole different issue.
Oh, yes, that is.
And if you don't like it, please send us emails, because no one ever sends us emails.
Are we too likable?
No. Well, I don't care if you like it or not. Send me an email.
No, I like good, bad, and the ugly.
Okay.
It's fun.
But with the Potter Award, you got to be
Of
really,
course.
really...
There's got to be more.
Yeah. So, this is like this happened a week after a week or two after the previous comment.
Okay.
There was news about an Illinois school district violating civil rights of a transgender girl by not allowing her to use the girls' locker room, and the decision came out that they had to.
Right.
Right. So a transgender girl should be able to use the girls' locker room.
Right.
So he didn't take that well either.
Of course he didn't.
So he literally said this: "If this ever happens in a school that my kids attend, I'll be the first to issue an ass whooping, both to the transgender and the administration who failed to protect our children. Wake up, America."
Holy crap. No, he needs a wake-up call.
So,
Wow. I mean, okay, first of all, that was a threat towards a minor.
Yeah.
Hello? That was a really dumbass thing to say. Let alone the entire comment itself.
right.
But talk about... It still amazes me this man was voted in. But the fact that he is so close-minded and, narrow-minded and not inclusive and just like it's my people and no one else and my
Right.
ways they will live and you will not live in any other way and I will burn everyone else. And that just kills me.
Right. But he has a little more to say on this. He says,
God.
"I don't care at all about how anybody identifies themselves. The issue is when they start using the opposite sex's facility. That just opens the door. We need to look at protecting the civil rights of all involved."
Except for the transgender.
So I listened to another interview and I wanted to get some audio off of it, but I couldn't listen to it anymore.
Yeah.
It was one of those, like, I can't deal with it. But basically, he has a zero understanding of what transgender is.
Obviously.
He equates the concept to, well, this is going to allow pedophiles in that are going to see and do things and be horrible
That's exactly
people.
what I figured he was thinking.
Well, I do agree with him on one thing, which is really weird, is so if you have a transgender girl, right, who still has parts,
right,
they are going into a girl's locker room and taking showers, and they still have those parts, right?
Right, I get
so
that.
it is possible that the girls in the locker room could see
right
the male parts still.
So in that aspect, I agree with that. Do they still have showers where there's no dividers between them?
That's my issue.
What the
do
hell?
they actually have those showers? Because I don't know. I figured they should be divided showers, so it shouldn't matter.
Yeah, because I always thought they at least had some kind of a divider, whether it be a curtain or just a wall.
Even in the Army, right?
I don't remember.
We had divided showers in my barracks.
Yeah, I never went to a school that didn't have divided showers.
But in middle school, the locker room was basically one big shower.
I can't think that
which
far
is
back.
ridiculous, right? And I don't remember the showers in high school, but
I don't remember that
ridiculous.
far back, so I don't know. And I guess I should ask the kids that.
Yeah,
I wonder if they have that at their locker room. But yeah, I mean, in this day and age, with all the issues we have with minors and, whether it's pictures or what have you, I would assume that there would be divided showers.
There
but
should be.
If there's not, and you do have a transgender that does still have parts that haven't been, changed over or anything, they should be allowed to go into the correct locker room. If they're changing to a girl, they should be allowed in the girls.
Right.
But maybe with, I don't know how, like if it's a multi-shower, how you would work that out, that accommodation.
Gets a little more complicated.
But they shouldn't be denied.
Right, they should not be denied access.
Because what you're going to have is if you have, say, a boy who's transgendering to a female and he does have to go to the male's locker, they are going to ramp the crap out of him.
Right. So he's only looking at the transgender girl having the male parts in the...
Well, of course he is.
So he's only looking at one side of the story.
Yeah, I mean, girls go the other way too.
Right.
But yeah, so he just can't seem to get over the whole pedophile aspect, which if you look at it from another standpoint, that kind of scares me on how his mind is thinking, by the way.
Yeah, I remember Huckabee said that.
Oh, really?
Huckabee said that if he knew that when he was younger, he would have just said he was transgender so he can get in and look at all the girls.
Yeah, for some grown man to make that comment, that shows you right there their mindset, their character.
And their lack of understanding of what transgender is.
Well, even regardless of that, I just see this as obviously that's what you think, you would do.
Right.
Because you're not, a good person or a good human or whatever that wouldn't think to do that in the first place. I mean... I would assume you, like, as a man, as an adult, as a father, you would never have even thought that in the first place.
That's just insane.
And let alone to make that comment publicly.
Right.
I mean, that's where I get this.
Not just publicly,
where I go
on
to
stage.
your character.
Right.
Oh,
he made that on stage.
Well, exactly. But that's where I see it as this shows your character.
Right.
That you would make a comment like that, whether it's private or public.
So...
I could just go on anyways.
Yeah, but on both occasions, he deleted those Facebook posts, which tells me he knows something is wrong with them.
Well, I was just going to say, obviously, he knows that probably wasn't what he should do.
But he says he stands behind those comments.
No, he doesn't, because if he didn't, if he did, he wouldn't have deleted them.
Yeah. In fact, he doubled down on his anti-Islam statement.
He just isn't like he got caught.
Right. And I'm going to quote him exactly. Can we logically say that an increase of political rule from a religion that historically oppresses individual rights in other religions is a good thing based on the history of that religion and the associated intolerance that it has displayed? That's quote one.
Okay.
Do you want religious courts in America, or do we live under the rule of laws outlined by our founding documents? Now, tell me,
wait a minute.
If I were to change one word, say Islam to Christian,
okay,
would his concept still apply? Do we want a rule of religion that is Christian based? So that's why I'm calling him out.
Right. He only wants it for his way,
Right.
no other way.
He doesn't want Islam as the the ruling, right? But he's just fine with Christian rules because
Right.
he's his.
It's my way, no highway option.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And I think these statements show his own inability to look at himself and his own religion in a critical way.
It still blows my mind this man was voted in. But, you know, we find potters constantly, and a lot of them are voted in.
Right. Most
And
of the potters that I find are elected.
It's the people who vote these people in, and when you don't vote, this is how they get in because, you know, you don't make your voice heard, and, you know, you let it go, and you let it go to votes that are just freaking insane.
Right.
And that's why I am so for, you know, as soon as you're legally 18 adult, you need to vote.
Well,
I mean,
I think we should have mandatory voter registration.
I agree.
I'm not saying they have to force you to vote, but
Right.
at least have registration.
Right. And, you know, I wish it also when people do vote that they research each and every person, not just because you heard so-and-so say this or you heard so-and-so say that.
Well, here's
you
the
actually
problem.
go and look it up.
With like this guy, I went through his history before he got elected. I didn't see anything like this on his history before he got elected.
So did the power go to his head?
I think it might have.
Because that's what it sounds like. And actually, I've heard that from, you know, a lot of the potters you have or what have you, like the sheriffs who are, you know, bypassing what the rules are and everything. It seems like power goes to their
Right.
head like crazy. What is that?
I don't know.
I mean, it's amazing how when some people get a power position, they just get super trippy.
Yeah. It's very,
But
really.
Anyways, I could just rant all day on that.
Yeah, and I think we're going to end on that note.
I think it's a great idea. And that's all the yakking we have for you this week. We'll see you next week.
We always like to hear your feedback, so leave us a voicemail at 704-802-YAK or an email at podcast@secularyakking.com.
More input.
All comments are welcome. We like to hear the good, the bad, and the ugly. You also can find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Google+.
If you like our show, head over to your podcast directory of choice and leave us a 5-star review. If you really like the show, support the show on our Podbean patron page.
I'd buy that for $1.
And we'll be back next week with more yakking to please your eardrums.